In Synastry, the opposition between Venus and Mercury is a fascinating and often dynamic aspect, primarily affecting communication and the expression of affection within a relationship. While it can bring about certain challenges, it also offers rich opportunities for growth and deeper understanding if both partners are willing to engage with the differences constructively. Let's break down the core energies and how their opposition manifests in behavior. The planets involved. Venus rules love, affection, values, aesthetics, pleasure, attraction, and how we give and receive love. It's about what we find beautiful, enjoyable, and desirable. Mercury governs communication, thought processes, logic, reasoning, learning, and the way we express ourselves verbally. It's how we process information and articulate our ideas. The opposition dynamic, 180 degrees. An opposition in Synastry suggests a pull and push, a polarity that can be both highly attractive and a source of tension. In the case of Venus and Mercury, it means different communication styles for affection. The Venus person's way of expressing love and their values may directly contrast with the Mercury person's natural communication style. Misinterpretations. There's a tendency for one person's message to be misunderstood by the other, particularly when it comes to emotional or affectionate overtures. Complementary strengths. Despite the challenges, these differences can be complementary. The Mercury person might bring a logical clarity that helps the Venus person articulate their feelings, while the Venus person can soften Mercury's potentially blunt communication with diplomacy and warmth. Behavioral manifestations of each partner. The Venus person's behavior. Expressing love differently. The Venus person will naturally express love and affection according to their Venus sign's nature. This might be through physical touch, shared pleasures, gifts, acts of service, or emotional support. Seeking validation for their values. They want their values, tastes, and affections to be understood and appreciated. When the Mercury person's communication style seems indifferent or critical, the Venus person might feel their expressions of love are not landing or are being intellectualized rather than felt. Sensitivity to words. They can be particularly sensitive to how the Mercury person communicates, especially regarding matters of the heart, beauty, or personal values. A thoughtless comment from Mercury can feel like a direct affront to Venus's feelings or sense of worth. Desire for harmony in communication. The Venus person usually prefers pleasant, harmonious conversations. They might shy away from direct confrontation or intellectual debates if they perceive them as disruptive to the emotional flow. Perception of Mercury as too intellectual or aloof. The Venus person might feel that the Mercury person is too analytical, detached, or even cold in their communication, especially when Venus is trying to express warmth or affection. They might wish Mercury would just feel rather than think. The Mercury person's behavior. Communicating logically/directly, the Mercury person will communicate based on their Mercury sign style, whether it's analytical, quick, detailed, philosophical, or direct. Their focus is often on clarity, facts, and understanding. Struggling with emotional nuance, they might find it challenging to grasp the subtle emotional language of the Venus person, or they might try to rationalize or analyze feelings rather than simply accepting them. Unintentionally hurting feelings. Due to their direct or logical approach, the Mercury person might inadvertently say things that wound the Venus person's sensitivities without intending to. They might not immediately understand why Venus is upset by a seemingly innocuous statement. Perception of Venus as too emotional or vague. The Mercury person might find the Venus person's communication too vague, overly emotional, or not straightforward enough. They might wish Venus would just say what they mean rather than hinting or expecting Mercury to intuit their feelings. Difficulty with sweet talk. Depending on Mercury's sign, they might struggle with the kind of flowery language or affectionate expressions that the Venus person desires. They might feel awkward or insincere engaging in sweet talk. Relationship dynamics and potential challenges. Communication breakdown in intimacy. The primary challenge lies in communicating affection, desires, and emotional needs. The Mercury person might not express appreciation in the way the Venus person needs to hear it, and the Venus person might feel unheard or misunderstood when trying to convey feelings. Different love languages, verbal while Venus rules love languages generally. This opposition specifically highlights how verbal expressions of love can clash. The Mercury person's words of love might not resonate with Venus, or Venus's attempts at affection might seem illogical or overly emotional to Mercury. Arguments over trivial matters, what one person considers a simple observation, the other might take as a criticism of their values or a lack of affection. This can lead to arguments that seem to stem from minor disagreements but are rooted in deeper communication mismatches. Intellectual versus emotional connection. There can be a struggle between the desire for an intellectual connection, Mercury, and an emotional/aesthetic connection, Venus. One partner might prioritize logical discussion, while the other craves shared appreciation or sentimental exchange. Talking past each other. They might literally talk past each other, with each person trying to communicate from their own perspective without fully grasping the other's underlying intent or emotional context. Path to harmony and growth. For a Venus-Mercury opposition in Synastry to thrive, conscious effort and understanding are crucial. Active listening and clarification. Both partners need to actively listen, not just hear. Mercury should learn to ask clarifying questions about Venus's feelings. Are you feeling hurt by what I said, rather than immediately intellectualizing? Venus should try to articulate their feelings more directly when necessary. Respecting different communication needs, acknowledge that neither style is wrong. Mercury needs to understand Venus's need for emotional validation and appreciative language. Venus needs to understand Mercury's need for clarity and directness. Translating love languages, both can learn to translate for each other. Mercury can make a conscious effort to verbalize appreciation and affection in ways that resonate with Venus. Venus can try to present their emotional needs in a more structured or logical way for Mercury. Finding common ground in values and ideas, while their communication styles may oppose, they might still share common interests or values. Focusing on these shared areas can build bridges and foster a sense of connection. Patience and empathy. This aspect requires a lot of patience. It's easy to get frustrated when communication isn't flowing smoothly. Practicing empathy and putting themselves in the other's shoes can help immensely. Humor. Sometimes, laughter can diffuse tension caused by misunderstandings. Learning to laugh at the awkwardness of their communication differences can be a bonding experience. In summary, the Venus opposing Mercury aspect in Synastry is a powerful indicator of communication challenges, particularly around matters of love, values, and personal expression. However, it also presents a profound opportunity for partners to expand their understanding of how others communicate and to learn to bridge gaps between logic and emotion, leading to a more nuanced and deeply understood relationship.